Good afternoon. Welcome to Business 360, your complete view of the stories driving business, markets, and the economy. I'm Apa Ongpin, and this is the Bilyonaryo News Channel. United States President Donald Trump is set to meet Chinese leader Xi Jinping in Beijing. Markets are watching trade, tariffs, AI, and the war in Iran. Shell Pilipinas shakes up its board. Robina, Gokongwei-Pe, and Babes Singson join as independent directors as two long-serving directors reach the SEC's 9-year term limit. And the House names the team that will prosecute Vice President Sara Duterte before the Senate Impeachment Court. Big moves today from some of the country's most watched corporate names. A boardroom reset at Shell Pilipinas, a global index setback for Jollibee, and new earnings numbers from Ayala Corporation and JG Summit. Business anchor Robert Tan has our top corporate stories.
Shell Pilipinas is refreshing its board as the Security and Exchange Commission's 9-year term limit for independent directors starts to impact some of the country's biggest listed companies. The company has named Gokongwei Group leader Robina Gokongwei-Pe and former Public Works Secretary Rogelio Babe Singson as independent directors. They replace Ayala Corporation Director Fernando Zobel de Ayala and Far Eastern University President Lydia Etchaus, who stepped down after reaching the SEC's term limit. The SEC ruling took effect February this year as part of a push to strengthen board independence and corporate governance. After reporting weaker earnings, Jollibee Foods Corporation is facing new index pressure. Jollibee will be removed from the MSCI Philippine Standard Index after the close of trading on May 29. The fast food giant will move to the MSCI Small Cap Index, reducing the number of Philippine companies in the standard index to 10. Ayala Corporation posted flat core net income of 11.2 billion pesos in the first quarter, excluding one-off items. High earnings from BPI and Globe, along with contributions from AC Energy and Infrastructure, helped offset softer results from Ayala Land. But including one-off items, Ayala's net income fell 5% to 12 billion pesos. The company said the decline was mainly due to a high base last year when it booked a dilution gain from MUFG's investment in Mint. Results were also weighed down by Ayala's reduced stake in Mint and lower dividend income from Manila Water. And JG Summit Holdings reported higher first quarter consolidated revenues, up 7% to 99.9 billion pesos. The Gokongwei-led conglomerate said the growth was driven by record passenger numbers in its air transport business, sustained volume growth in branded foods, and high recognized residential revenues from its real estate arm. Robert Tan, Business 360.
Bank of Commerce grew profits despite a volatile first quarter as stronger core banking income offset trading losses. The San Miguel-backed lender posted 976.19 million pesos in net income, up 13% from a year ago. Net interest income jumped 20% to 2.98 billion pesos, supported by higher loans and receivables and income from investment securities. That helped cushion a drop in fees and commissions, as well as losses from trading and investment securities. Local shares slid for a second straight session, with Jollibee's sharp drop adding pressure to the market. The Philippine Stock Exchange Index settled at the 5,900 level. Only the financial sectors ended higher, while mining fell more than 1%. Among the most active stocks, Jollibee Foods was the biggest loser, falling more than 7%. The drop followed weaker first quarter results and Jollibee's removal from the MSCI Philippines Standard Index.
And today we had an MSCI rebound. We saw the Philippines weight dropped again, and an index removal from large cap to from standard to small cap, which is Jollibee, and that is not good for the market. The market shrinks because of that. So again, from our perspective, we need to somewhat anchor those stocks in the MSCI in order to provide a support for those names.
Tech shares are giving Asian markets a lift as investors buy back into AI-linked stocks ahead of the Trump-Xi meeting. China and Hong Kong shares pushed higher, after investors snapped up early losses in AI-related names. The Shanghai Composite shook off early declines and is now flirting with an 11-year high. South Korea's Kospi posted some of the region's biggest gains, climbing nearly 3%. Investors are watching the face-to-face meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese leader Xi Jinping. Analysts say even modest progress, such as extending the tariff truce or easing tensions around chips and supply chains, could give stocks on both sides another boost. The rebound in Asian stocks comes even after Wall Street fell overnight. The S&P 500 slipped 0.2%, while the Nasdaq lost 0.7. Consumer inflation in the U.S. posted its biggest increase in 3 years. That has raised the risk that the Federal Reserve may have to raise interest rates sooner than expected. What to watch out for in U.S. President Donald Trump's meeting with Chinese leader Xi Jinping? Business 360 will be right back. Welcome back to Business 360. I'm Apa Ongpin. Tonight, U.S. President Donald Trump will be in Beijing for a high-stakes meeting with Chinese leader Xi Jinping. The summit comes as two of the world's biggest economies, or the world's two biggest economies, try to keep a fragile trade truce from breaking down as the Middle East conflict weighs on global markets. Trump is traveling with a high-powered business delegation, including Tesla CEO Elon Musk, Apple CEO Tim Cook, and other top U.S. executives. Trump says he will push Xi to open China's market to more American business. But expectations are modest. Analysts say any deal will likely be limited enough to keep U.S.-China tensions from flaring up again. Apart from the war in Iran, the Taiwan issue is also expected to come up at the Trump-Xi summit. But even before Trump arrives in China, Beijing is already drawing a hard line. China says it is ready to crush any bid for Taiwan independence.
There is only one China, and Taiwan is part of China. This is an undeniable historical and legal fact that cannot be denied. Taiwan has never been a country, it was not one in the past, and it absolutely will not be one in the future. We firmly oppose the establishment of diplomatic relations with, and the sale of arms to China's Taiwan region. This position is consistent and clear.
Airline fuel surcharges are set to drop in the second half of May, though they remain well above pre-crisis levels. The Civil Aeronautics Board has lowered the passenger and cargo fuel surcharge to level 15. Under that level, airlines may collect a fuel surcharge of around 100 to 300 pesos on a one-way domestic flight. For some international routes, however, that could be as much as 2,500 pesos. That is down from level 18 during the first half of May, but still far above level 4, the rate before the Middle East crisis. Meralco customers will see a small rate cut this month, but power cost pressures remain. Meralco says rates will go down by 1.5 centavos per kilowatt hour for the May billing period. That means a household using 200 kilowatt hours may save about 3 pesos. The cut was driven by lower transmission charges and a bigger refund adjustment. But spot market power prices rose more than 30% in April as demand increased. Digital banks are ranking ahead in a new customer satisfaction survey of Philippine banks. Maribank Philippines and GoTime Bank took the top 2 spots in Forbes' World's Best Banks 2026 list for the Philippines. Banks were evaluated on customer satisfaction, customer service, digital services, and financial advice, among others. But legacy banks are still in the game. BPI placed 3rd, the highest-ranked traditional bank on the list. The results point to a shift in what some customers value, from branch-based banking to faster apps, easier access, and stronger digital services. Coming up, meet the 11-member House panel that will represent the chamber in the Senate impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. This is Business 360. Welcome back to Business 360. I'm Apa Ongpin. The House elected an 11-member prosecution panel for the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. The panel will represent the House before the Senate impeachment court, and its members include Representatives Jervil Luistro, Terry Ridon, Lawrence Defensor, Chel Jokno, and Laila de Lima, among others. The panel was elected a day after the House impeached Duterte and sent the case to the Senate. Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano admits he helped Senator Bato de la Rosa enter the Senate complex on Monday. Let's get the details from Hannah T. Hannah, what can you tell us?
Apa Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano has admitted that Senator Bato de la Rosa arrived at the Senate last Monday using a vehicle arranged by him, insisting that no crime was committed in helping the senator enter the Senate complex Monday afternoon. According to Cayetano, he had been in communication with De La Rosa and only found out Monday morning that the senator was nearby and ready to surface. Cayetano said they then made arrangements to bring De La Rosa to the Senate, which he claimed was obvious during the plenary session after he publicly announced that the Senate majority already had 13 members for a leadership change, including De La Rosa. It was Monday afternoon when De La Rosa floated in Senate plenary after 6 months, and a CCTV footage showed that he ran away from NBI personnel who attempted to arrest him due to an ICC warrant. Meanwhile, De La Rosa appeared today in front of Senate media as he sang a portion of the PMA hymn while making a direct appeal to security forces and President Bongbong Marcos amid the ICC warrant against him. The former PNP chief insisted his appeal was not a call for violence, but a plea for peaceful support from fellow PMA cavaliers who believe the country should not be subject to foreign interference. De La Rosa also maintained that the Philippines is no longer the ICC, questioning why the government would still enforce a warrant issued by a foreign court. The senator also directly appealed to PBBM not to allow his transfer to The Hague, saying he's simply a Filipino asking his president for help. For now, Apa De La Rosa remains under protective custody inside the Senate while his camp continues to exhaust all legal remedies and wait for possible action from the Supreme Court. Back to you.
Thank you, Hannah T. reporting. Former Senator Antonio Trillanes IV is questioning why DILG Secretary John Vic Remulla is hesitant to act on the ICC arrest warrant against Senator Ronald Bato Dela Rosa. Remulla earlier said that the ICC warrant has no force in the Philippines unless it is endorsed by Interpol. On BNC's memo with Corina, Trillanes said the government should not protect political allies facing serious criminal allegations.
Ano na po ang estado ng arrest warrant?
Base po ang dun sa mga nasaksihan ko kahapon, nagpasya po yung NBI na mag-stand down para mag-de-escalate yung situation dahil bibigyan nila ng tamang panahon na maisip ni Senator Cayetano na mali yung ginagawa niya.
Paano pong mali? I mean, illegal or immoral?
Yes, dahil ganito po, hindi po pwedeng maging refuge ng mga international criminal ang Senado. At ang constitutional protection po na pinoprovide sa mga senador while in session are only for crimes na napipinalize ng 6 years or below. Ito pong krimen ni Bato de la Rosa ay life imprisonment po yan.
Tama po.
Trillanes also claimed Senator Bongo could be next to face an ICC warrant in connection with the drug war. He said Go may be treated as a co-conspirator, but added it could take months before any warrant is issued. Vice President Sara Duterte criticized senators who called on Senator Dela Rosa to surrender. She said an ICC arrest warrant cannot be enforced in the Philippines.
Hindi yan panawagan ng kahit sinong tao dahil ang isang warrant of arrest na hindi issued by a Philippine court cannot be implemented in Philippine soil.
Meanwhile, the Department of Justice said the country may surrender a suspect to an international court under RA 9851. The same law was used in the arrest case of former President Rodrigo Duterte. Coming up, the Makati Business Club has named its next and first ever female executive director. Find out who when Business 360 returns. Welcome back to Business 360. I'm Apa Ongpin. The Senate Blue Ribbon Committee partial report has been submitted to the Ombudsman. This was confirmed by Assistant Ombudsman Miko Clavano. The report will be used for investigations into flood control cases. Senator Lacson said the information they collected won't go to waste despite the change in Senate leadership. In his progress report, Lacson also outlined the committee's plans to continue the flood control probe.
Una, mas malalim at mabusising imbestigasyon hinggil sa usapin ng allocables at leadership fund. Pagtuunan ng pansin ng komite ang mga opisyal na dokumentong ating nakalap mula sa DPWH. Kabilang dito ang mga sulat galing sa mga mababatas na maaaring pag-aralan para magpakita ng paper trail na nag-uugnay sa mga flood control projects. Magpapadala na rin pa rin po tayo ng formal na imbitasyon kay dating Speaker Romualdez sa pamamagitan ng kasalukuyang Speaker ng Kamara upang bigyan daan ang kanyang panig at paglilinaw hinggil sa mga aligasyong ibinabato laban sa kanya.
Lacson urged his fellow senators to sign the committee's partial report. It still needs 2 more signatures before it can be presented in plenary. The Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation is turning over more cash to the national government. PAGCOR has remitted 5.67 billion pesos to the national treasury, representing half of the state gaming agency's net earnings for 2025. PAGCOR says the latest remittance brings its total dividend payments since 2022 to 29.9 billion pesos. The agency says the funds will help support government programs amid pressure from the global oil crisis and other fiscal challenges. Double Dragon is moving to consolidate Merrymart. Double Dragon is set to launch a mandatory tender offer for Merrymart Consumer Corporation on May 18. The offer will run until June 16 after getting clearance from the Philippine Competition Commission. Double Dragon is offering 48 centavos per share, a 20% premium to Merrymart's trading price as of May 8. That deal would bring Merrymart into Double Dragon's AAA credit-rated portfolio as Double Dragon shifts from a mainly property-focused group into a more diversified investment holding company. The Makati Business Club has named its next executive director. Julia Abad will take on the role on July 1st, becoming the first woman to lead the influential business group. She previously served as Chief of Staff to former President Benigno Aquino III and led the presidential management staff from 2010 to 2016. The MBC says Abad brings more than 2 decades of experience in governance, public policy, development work, and strategic leadership. More stories when we return. Business 360, we'll be right back. Bike Philippines is introducing Benji Paras and his sons Andre and Kobe as its new brand ambassadors. The company says they embody what bike's all about. Mobility correspondent Gia Baroga brings us up to speed.
Natural, real, and relatable family dynamics. That's the kind of energy Bike Philippines saw in the Paras family as Benji, Andre, and Kobe officially signed on as the brand's newest ambassadors. According to Bilyonaryo heir Timothy Sitin, each of them embodies what the bike brand represents. Legacy for Benji, adventure for Kobe, and modern Filipino for Andre.
Having the Paras family with us is a big opportunity for us to showcase what our cars are about. The different personalities that they have, it really shows what bike cars are capable of doing also.
Among Bike Philippines' new energy vehicles is the hybrid B30, like the ones owned by the Paras family. The company says the unit can reach up to 34.9 kilometers per liter. The Paras family says the bike brand fits right into their lifestyle, checking all the boxes they've been looking for in a vehicle. Like most people, they admitted they are still new to the world of electric cars, but they also hope to make a difference for Filipino motorists.
So there are so many things that we are still learning about, and I'm sure everyone else is. And hopefully we can be also one of the bridges to the people who can accept the change and at the same time to learn more about the bike family.
Especially now, I feel like we have the capacity of a country to, have more like charging ports for electric vehicles. So hopefully one day, everyone can be in tune and just move to electric cars.
Before, when you say about electric cars, the looks is like it's like parang out of this world, parang spaceship, di ba? So now if you look at the like this bike B30, the style is luxurious and it attracts attention.
For the Paras Boys, this partnership is also a chance to discover more about new energy vehicle technology, while creating even more bonding moments together on the road with bike as their companion. For BNC Mobility, G. Baroga.
And that's Business 360. We'll keep tracking the moves that matter across markets, policy, and the economy. I'm Apa Ongpin. Thank you for joining us. Keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.